Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new here. My name is Joni and I am the mom behind simplelivingmama.com, where we help moms simplify life, home, and homeschool. And in today's video, I am actually going to be resetting my homeschool room for the last time in this house. We are at the very end of our time here in Northwest Arkansas. We've got a week of homeschool left, and then everything's going to get packed up and we're going to get ready to move. I debated whether or not to give a little bit of an update if you've been following along with my story and what's been going on behind the scenes with this move. I'm just going to say right now, nothing really has changed. We are still kind of in this unknown phase. We don't know when we're going to get a new house. This government shutdown has really caused a lot of problems and a lot of hiccups. We do know that we still have to move regardless. It's kind of been a little bit of a roller coaster because originally it was like you have to move no matter what. Then they paused all the moves, and now because of when my husband's orders were issued, we are back to moving no matter what, having to be at our new duty location on an exact date, and it's just crazy. His dislocation allowance has been approved and it's supposed to be paid. We have yet to see it. So I don't know when it's going to get paid. It will get paid eventually, just don't know when. So we're kind of in this weird in-between phase. I've been really stressed about it, and I'm trying right now to let it go. Just know that God's going to take care of us. God's going to provide for us no matter what happens. We did find a beautiful house. There's a beautiful house up there on the rental market right now. Just went on, has 4 bedrooms. We put in an application, and I talked with the property manager, and she's not really wanting to lease it to us until we have the chance to look at it, which I understand. Like to look at it in person, which I understand. And I told her we're not going to be able to get up there for X amount of time, and she's like, well, it may not still be available. And I'm like, you know what, it's in God's hands. If it's not still available, then we're not meant to live in that house. As much as it would be the perfect house, it has a nice big yard, it has more space than this house has, it's in our price range, which is hard to find, but it may not be the house for us. So whatever happens. I know a lot of you are praying for us. We have a lot of great people in our corner that are trying to help us out as best that they can. And some of you have even reached out with a few suggestions about contacting churches up there. And I think that's a wonderful suggestion. And if, it's on my radar and kind of on my list of things to do, if this stuff is really going to look like it's not going to pan out, as far as us getting our dislocation allowance and all of that, then I will definitely be reaching out to some churches up there. That's a wonderful idea. And I'm just trying to say, you know what, this is a new adventure, and whatever happens, and we're going to get through it. It's very hard for me and just my personality and how I like to have things planned out, and God is teaching me very much through all of this, through my entire motherhood, pretty much, that as much as I think I'm in control and I think I can make a plan, ultimately I'm not in control. So hang on one second. So I know that ultimately in the end everything is going to be okay. So let's go ahead and jump into getting this schoolroom cleaned up for the last time. All right, so here is a look at our space at the end of a homeschool week, and to be honest, it's probably been a couple of weeks since I actually got this space cleaned up. So we are going to go ahead, we're going to tidy things up, we're going to switch things out that need to be switched out, and get ready for our new homeschool week. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is just clean off this countertop area. There is a lot of stuff that has accumulated here, a lot of old papers and things like that that need to be either filed away or thrown away. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about this space. So we have a very small living and dining and kitchen space in this house. It's pretty cramped, and to be honest, it doesn't really work for our entire family of 9. But I will say that even though I have complained a lot about this space, it is still a place where I have homeschooled my children for the past 4 years. It holds a lot of memories for me. And to be honest, it is a little bit sad to know that pretty soon I'm going to be packing all of this stuff up and we're going to start over in a new space. But still, I'm very excited about that. And I hope that whenever we do get into a new home, that that new space is that it has like natural light and has a little bit more wiggle room for us and maybe enough space for all of us to sit around the table as a family. That said, I am not someone who thinks that you have to have a separate schoolroom to homeschool your kids. In fact, I have found that homeschooling in the dining room works out better, in my opinion, than having like a separate school space. Now, it is nice to have another place to actually put away all of the school stuff. So maybe you're not having to stare at your school stuff while you're eating at your dining room table. But in all of the houses that we have lived in, I have found that we just get a lot more done when we are able to homeschool in the dining room because it tends to be in a central location, close to the kitchen, close to where we're actually doing other things. I did have a house that had a separate schoolroom in a basement one time, and while I loved having all of that space for all of our school stuff, just the location of that room made it very difficult to want to go down there. I found that we really just preferred to have our homeschool space in a central location. So even though I would love to have a separate library, and one day I will get my separate library, I do have a library room in the house that we own that we do plan to go back to when my husband retires one of these days. I'll get it one day, but it's definitely not something that we have to have. And homeschool wherever you can. That's my advice. So right now I am going through our caddy. This is the biggest mess, I think. We just kind of end up throwing stuff back into this caddy. So this took me the longest of everything that I did in this room today. I ended up taking out all of the stuff that's in here. We had a lot of pencils, crayons, glue sticks, markers, pens, paper clips, staples, all kinds of different things in this caddy. So I took everything out, I sorted it out. There was trash in there too, a lot of broken stuff, broken pencils, broken crayons, things that weren't really usable anymore. So I went through all of that and got rid of everything that we didn't need. I actually ended up moving the crayons to a totally different container, which works out better because then my little kids can use the crayons and they're able to sort through them much, much easier than they can in this caddy. And then I just reorganized it and it looks so much better. I love having a nice organized caddy where we know where things are and we're not having to hunt for them. So that worked out very, very well. The next thing that I did was I switched out our artist study, our picture study for the week. We are learning about Camille Pissarro and we are moving into week 9, so it's time to get out the new painting. Now, I will say that I wish I had printed this stuff on cardstock, and next time I do this, I'm going to print it on cardstock. But this is what we have right now, so we're making it work. I love displaying artwork in our schoolroom, and eventually, if we ever get a little bit more space, I would like to put up each of the different artworks that we have studied for that term, like have them up on the wall or something. But this works for now, so I just display the piece that we are learning about for that 2-week time period here on the counter. I ended up moving the artwork to this little stand here because I decided that I wanted to put our current nature study on display on the other stand. So I actually love this book. It has so many beautiful illustrations, and we're trying to go through one 2-page spread a week. I will say we've gotten behind on it, which is fine. So we are currently on this one. The Dawn Chorus Performs. So I opened that up and put it on the display rack right there. So that way the kids can, see it while we are doing our homeschool study throughout the week. The next thing
thing that I'm going to do is switch out our manner of the week. We have actually done a really good job keeping up with this, and it's been an interesting thing to talk about with the kids. It doesn't take much time during our morning time, and I just have this displayed up here on the board throughout the week, and it's serves as a visual reminder of those different manners that we need to be working on. I really do love having this whiteboard in here. I didn't think that I would at first, but I love that I can display the scripture verse that we're memorizing currently, as well as any virtues or habits that we're working on. I keep those up there, until we move on to the next one. My 4 year old loves to add her own artwork to the whiteboard throughout the week. So I am going to erase it. I'm sure she's going to add some more to it, you know, during the week, but that's okay. It makes it all the more memorable and special having her little touches added to our whiteboard. The next thing I'm going to work on is our homeschool cart. This is where I tend to keep all of our teacher's manuals, my homeschool binder where I have all of our lesson plans. I have different cards in here. Our apologetics cards are up there, just in easy reach. And then I keep other things down below in the caddy that aren't needed quite so much. And here is the end result of this area being nice and cleaned up. Looks so much better, and now we know where everything is as well. Now I'm just going to put up some of the bits and bobs that got left out over the week. This is our science kit from Home Science Adventures. This is the light kit. This has been so much fun. My kids love all of the experiments that are in this kit. This is actually in the curriculum for Modern Mobilies, although I have read that Home Science Adventures is going to be discontinuing soon, which makes me so sad because we have used several of their kits and I have really enjoyed them. And I love that everything we need is just right here in this box. So they've done a lot of different experiments already. We did an experiment where they did something with their fingerprints. That this is for a future experiment that they're really excited about. We've done a lot of like light bending experiments with that little box right there. And then they're going to be doing a bubble experiment pretty soon. Um, those rainbow glasses that I showed you, they've already gotten into, even though we haven't done anything with those yet. The mirrors as well. So many different fun things for them to do, and it comes with all of the stuff, all of the instructions, all of the little worksheets that they can use for their science journals and everything. The latest one that we did was actually a magnifying glass experiment. We tried to burn a hole in that stick and it didn't really work out, but it was still a really fun experiment. I'm also going to be putting away our Yodo cards. We love our Yodo. These are the different cards that we currently have. Charlotte's Web is missing because the girls are listening to that before bed. But the Yodo is definitely something that I recommend for homeschool families. It has been a great investment for us. Finally, I'm going to put away some of our books over here. This is where I keep my fourth, my fifth graders' books, as well as my second graders in the basket behind there. We were working on Paddle to the Sea and Famous Men of Greece last week. I just keep all of their books together because I teach them together, so it makes it easier to have everything all together. So this is the geography coloring book from that Modern Mobilies recommends, and I love this for map work. It works out so beautifully. Everything is right here in this coloring book, and then whenever we're studying something, we just open it up and color it using those lesson plans from Modern Mobilies. And I will say that we also have those maps down there that you can see from Halling Sing Halling. Here's some more stuff that I'm putting up. I think this is my fourth graders' books. We're going to put those away. And then back to those maps. Those go with all of the different Halling See Halling books that we're reading from Modern Mobilies. If you guys want to see what we've done so far with those maps, I can include that in a different video. It does take a little bit of time to get them out of those containers and all of that stuff. But those are a great investment, I think, too. So that is the end of resetting our homeschool space. Like I said, this is a tiny space that we have made work for the past 4 years, and I will miss it.
I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also find me on Instagram. I also have a fairly new page over on Facebook if you hang out on Facebook. And of course, my blog, simplelivingmama.com. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.